Last night, millions of people got just 4 hours of sleep. Maybe a work deadline. Maybe anxiety that would not quiet down. Maybe a sick child kept them up. And right now, their immune system is running at roughly 30% of its normal capacity. Not 70%, not 80%, 30%. A single night of restricted sleep destroys 70% of your natural killer cells. The cells that hunt down cancer before it spreads. That eliminate viruses before you feel symptoms. That patrol your bloodstream around the clock. After one bad night, most of them are gone. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this happens, what it means for your long-term health, and what 3 evidence-based changes can begin rebuilding your immune defenses starting tonight. Here is a number that deserves more attention than it gets. In a study that has since been replicated and confirmed across multiple laboratories worldwide, healthy adults were restricted to just 4 hours of sleep for a single night. Not for a month, not for a week, one single night. The next morning, researchers measured the activity of their immune cells. What they found should have been front-page news. They documented a 70% reduction in natural killer cell function. 70%. Not a marginal fluctuation, not a temporary dip. A 70% crash in cells responsible for your body's most critical immune surveillance work. The word the researchers chose to describe this state was not subtle. They called it a considerable state of immunodeficiency. The same clinical language used for people with serious, chronic immune disorders. And the people in this study were not patients. They were not elderly. They were not compromised. They were ordinary, healthy adults. Now here is the detail most people miss, and it fundamentally changes how you should think about sleep and immunity. Your immune system does not calculate a weekly average. It does not look back across the month, smooth things out, and decide whether you have had enough rest overall. Each night is evaluated independently. Each night, your body either arms its defenses or it does not. There is no carry forward. There is no balance to draw on. Think about what that means in practical terms. The late nights when a project deadline forces you to stay up until 2 in the morning. The nights before a major presentation when anxiety keeps sleep just out of reach. The weeks during cold and flu season when you are already running at the edge of your reserves. These are precisely the moments when your natural killer cells need to be at peak capacity. And these are precisely the moments when they are most likely to be depleted. There is a pattern here that most people recognize when it is pointed out to them. People tend to get sick immediately after a stressful period ends. Not during the crisis itself. After it. During sustained high-pressure stress, the hormone cortisol suppresses symptoms and keeps people functional. But the moment that pressure releases and they finally exhale, the immune debt comes due all at once. The sore throat arrives. The deep fatigue sets in. The cold they somehow avoided at the height of the crisis appears now, when they thought they were past it. This is not a coincidence. It is a direct biological consequence of what sleep deprivation does to immune function over time. Sleep deprivation is not simply tiredness. It is a clinically measurable, mechanistically understood suppression of the body's primary defense system against infection and disease. In a landmark 2015 study published in the journal Sleep, researchers tracked 164 healthy adult volunteers deliberately exposed to rhinovirus, the pathogen responsible for the common cold. Participants sleeping fewer than 6 hours per night were 4.2 times more likely to develop an active cold infection compared to those sleeping 7 hours or more. Not slightly more likely, 4.2 times. According to Professor Matthew Walker, neuroscientist and director of the Center for Human Sleep Science at the University of California, Berkeley, this is not merely a statistical correlation. It is a causal, mechanistic relationship. The immune system and sleep co-evolved over millions of years. They are interdependent at every level of biological function. The implications extend well beyond viral infections. The World Health Organization has formally classified all forms of night shift work, any work pattern that chronically disrupts the circadian sleep-wake cycle, as a probable carcinogen. Not because of chemical workplace exposure, because of what ongoing sleep disruption does to the immune system's capacity to identify and eliminate cancerous cells before they proliferate. Research has found statistically significant associations between shortened sleep and elevated risk of intestinal cancer, prostate cancer, and breast cancer. This is epidemiology drawn from datasets involving hundreds of thousands of individuals. The problem is real. The scale is vast. And most people are still not being told about it clearly. To understand what sleep actually does for immunity and why losing it creates such immediate damage, you need to understand one specific class of cell in detail. Natural killer cells, or NK cells, are sometimes called the immune system's elite strike force. But that framing undersells what these cells actually do. Think of them as a fully autonomous surveillance and rapid response destruction network. They circulate continuously through your blood, your lymph nodes, and your body tissues, identifying cells that have deviated from normal biological function. Cancer cells, virus-infected cells, cells whose internal repair mechanisms have broken down. When an NK cell finds one of these targets, it does not wait for a coordinating signal. It acts immediately, delivering what researchers call a cytotoxic lethal hit, releasing specialized proteins that punch through the target cell's outer membrane and trigger destruction from within. This process is happening in your body right now. As you watch this, natural killer cells are circulating in your bloodstream, performing this function silently and without any action or awareness required from you. The question is not whether they are working. The question is whether you are providing the biological conditions they require to work effectively and to rebuild after every operational cycle. NK cells do not replenish their capacity during waking hours. Their production, their cytotoxic programming, and the renewal of their attack capability all occur during sleep, specifically during the deep stages known as slow-wave sleep. During these stages, the body releases a coordinated cascade of restorative signals, including growth hormone, prolactin, and immune-supporting cytokines that instruct the immune system. Operational pause, rebuild, resupply, restore attack capacity. This is not a side effect of sleep. This is one of the primary biological functions that sleep evolved to perform. The body uses the hours of unconsciousness to accomplish immune maintenance work that simply cannot be done during waking hours. Here is the aspect most people have never considered, and it changes how you should think about your own sleep habits. When you sleep only 4 or 5 hours instead of full 7 or 8, you are not receiving a proportionally smaller version of the same sleep. You are losing the most biologically active portion of the night. Sleep architecture is not uniform. The distribution of sleep stages changes significantly as the night progresses. Deep slow-wave sleep is concentrated in the early cycles, but the final cycles of a full night also contribute additional restorative content that serves critical immune repair functions. When someone sleeps from midnight to 5 in the morning, they complete some early deep sleep cycles. But they cut the final 2 hours that carry the restorative content the immune system needs most. The biological price for those missing hours is not proportional to the time lost, is disproportionate. And then there is the genomic layer of this. The level at which sleep restrictions impact on immunity becomes genuinely alarming. A study examined what 1 week of mild sleep restriction does to gene expression. Researchers limited healthy adults to 6 hours per night for 7 days. 6 hours, the level many people consider normal, even adequate. At the end of that week, researchers analyzed gene activity across participant cells. 711 genes had their expression significantly altered. The changes split almost evenly. Half the affected genes showed decreased activity. Half showed increased activity. The genes switched off were overwhelmingly associated with immune function, specifically the genetic programs that coordinate natural killer cell production, antiviral response, and pathogen surveillance. All suppressed. The genes switched on were associated with 3 categories: tumor formation, chronic systemic inflammation, and cardiovascular stress pathways. 1 week. 6 hours per night, 711 gene expression changes, all moving in a direction that suppresses immunity, promotes inflammation, and activates cancer-associated pathways. This is why sleep scientists speak about sleep with such urgency. Because at the molecular level, for tens of millions of people living on 6 hours, this is exactly what is happening every night. Most people who recognize they are sleeping poorly eventually try something to fix it. And across the population, the attempts tend to cluster around the same responses. Almost all of them address the wrong part of the problem. Here are the 3 most common mistakes and why each one fundamentally misses the point. The first mistake is the supplement strategy. When immunity becomes a concern, whether after getting sick, reading something alarming, or simply feeling run down, the instinctive response is supplementation. Vitamin C, zinc, elderberry, echinacea, beta-glucans, mushroom compounds. The global immune supplement market generates tens of billions of dollars annually. Some of these compounds have real, peer-reviewed effects on specific immune pathways. But here is what no supplement can do. No supplement can reverse a 70% reduction in natural killer cell activity caused by sleep deprivation. The reason is mechanistic. Supplements act on biochemical pathways. The sleep-dependent NK cell restoration process is a structural, architecture-dependent repair cycle. It requires deep sleep stages to proceed. No compound substitutes for that. Supplementing without fixing sleep is like adding premium fuel to a car with a broken engine block. The fuel quality is fine. That is not the problem. The second mistake is the weekend recovery strategy. The reasoning: Monday through Friday, sleep is short, but on Saturday and Sunday, the debt will be repaid. Sleep in. Restore the balance. Start the next week recovered. This logic is intuitive, is also biologically incorrect. Sleep debt does not function like financial debt. You cannot bank sleep from good weeks against bad ones and expect a full return. Studies tracking immune biomarkers after extended sleep debt consistently show the same result. Even after 2 recovery nights of 9 hours, natural killer cell counts and multiple inflammatory markers remain below pre-deprivation baseline. The biology does not normalize in 2 days. And there is a second problem that compounds the damage. Irregular sleep schedules, late weekends followed by early Monday alarms, disrupt circadian rhythm in ways that independently suppress immune function. NK cells have their own circadian activity pattern with peak cytotoxic effectiveness at specific times in the 24-hour cycle. Irregular schedules blunt these peaks. Even sleep that does occur produces less immune benefit than it would under consistent timing. The third mistake is the performance-first mindset. In the modern sleep optimization conversation, the framing is almost entirely about cognitive performance. Better focus, sharper decision-making, improved mood. These are real benefits of sufficient sleep, and they matter. But they represent only the part people can feel the next morning. Cognitive performance recovery and immune recovery do not run on the same timeline. You can feel completely alert, functional, and sharp, genuinely fine, the morning after a week of poor sleep, while your NK cell count remains significantly below normal. Feeling rested is an indicator of adenosine clearance and cortisol normalization, separate systems that normalize faster than immune function does. It tells you nothing reliable about whether your immune surveillance is restored. Millions of people walk around feeling adequate, even energized, while their immune surveillance network operates at a fraction of its capacity. The deficit is invisible, until it is not, until the virus circulating in the office finally lands, until an abnormal cell that should have been caught years earlier was not. So supplements cannot compensate for sleep deprivation. Weekend recovery sleep does not fully restore immune function. And feeling fine in the morning is not a reliable signal that your natural killer cells are operating normally. What does actually move the needle? 3 specific, evidence-backed interventions. None of them complicated, but each works through a precise biological mechanism, and understanding the mechanism is what makes the habit sustainable. Intervention 1. Consistent sleep duration, 7 to 9 hours anchored daily. The most powerful immune-restoring change is also the most foundational. Commit to 7 to 9 hours of sleep in the same window every day of the week. Every day, not 5 days. All 7. Here is why consistency matters as much as duration itself. Research published in Current Biology found that inflammatory markers, specifically interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha, began returning toward normal values within 2 to 3 nights of restored, full-duration sleep in adults with accumulated sleep debt. Not after 2 weeks, 2 to 3 nights. But the speed of recovery depends on circadian regularity. NK cells operate on a 24-hour biological rhythm. Their peak cytotoxic activity occurs at specific times within that cycle. When sleep schedules are irregular, different bedtimes and wake times across the week, the circadian rhythm governing NK cell activity is constantly being disrupted. Peak effectiveness is blunted even when total sleep hours are technically adequate. Set a fixed bedtime and a fixed wake time. Allow no more than 30 minutes of variation in either direction, 7 days a week. This regularity anchors the circadian clock and stabilizes NK cell timing. Within a week of consistent scheduling, most adults begin experiencing measurable improvements in sleep quality. Intervention 2. Bedroom temperature below 18 degrees Celsius. This one surprises most people. For the body to enter and sustain slow-wave deep sleep, where NK cell restoration primarily occurs, core body temperature must drop approximately 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius from its daytime level. This is a physiological prerequisite. The transition into deep sleep architecture does not reliably begin until this thermal condition is met. When the bedroom is too warm, the necessary temperature drop is delayed. The body spends additional time in light sleep, waiting. Deep slow-wave stages arrive later, are shorter, and complete less restoration before sleep naturally lightens. Research supports an optimal bedroom temperature of approximately 18 degrees Celsius or 65 degrees Fahrenheit for most adults, cooler than most people's default environment. One counterintuitive but well-supported option: take a warm shower 30 to 60 minutes before bed. By drawing blood to the skin surface, a warm shower accelerates heat dissipation through convection. Core temperature drops faster after stepping out than through passive room cooling alone. The result is faster deep sleep onset and longer total slow-wave sleep duration per night. Intervention 3. Light elimination in the 90 minutes before bed. You have heard the advice to avoid screens before sleeping, but the immunological mechanism is more specific than the typical explanation suggests. Visible light in the 460 to 480 nanometer wavelength range, the blue band emitted by phones, laptops, tablets, and LED lighting, suppresses melatonin release from the pineal gland with high efficiency. Even moderate exposure during the 2 hours before normal sleep time delays melatonin onset by 2 to 3 hours. Melatonin is widely understood as a sleep hormone, is less widely understood as a direct immune modulator. Research has documented melatonin receptors expressed directly on the surface of natural killer cells. Melatonin signaling is mechanistically involved in NK cell proliferation and cytotoxic activation. When evening light exposure suppresses melatonin, this immune signaling pathway is directly disrupted. A study published in 2021 found that adults who blocked artificial light in the 2 hours before bed showed statistically significant increases in NK cell activity after just 1 week. 1 week. The immune response to improved melatonin conditions begins that quickly. No screens within 90 minutes of your target bedtime. Not dimmed, not on night mode. Off. Replace with non-light emitting activities, physical books, gentle movement, audio content through a face-down device. When all 3 interventions operate together, consistent 7 to 9 hours on a fixed daily schedule, a bedroom cooled to 18 degrees Celsius, and 90 minutes of pre-sleep darkness, the effect is not simply additive. It is compounding. Consistent timing anchors NK cell activity rhythms. Cool temperatures enable deeper, longer slow-wave sleep. Darkness allows full melatonin rise that directly stimulates NK cell production. Together, they create the optimal biological environment for maximum immune restoration every single night. Here is the perspective Sleep Secrets consistently returns to, the one the research does not state in these exact words, but that the cumulative data makes unmistakably clear. Most conversations about immunity frame it as a fixed biological property. Either you have a strong immune system or you do not. Healthy people stay well. People who get sick frequently are simply unlucky. The science of sleep and immunity tells a completely different story. Immunity is not fixed. It is a dynamic, actively maintained, and continuously rebuilt biological state, one that is reconstructed to a significant degree every single night during sleep. Every night is an opportunity for natural killer cells to replenish, for immune surveillance to reset, for the genetic machinery governing immune function to receive the signals it needs. Every night that sleep is shortened or disrupted, that restoration cycle is interrupted, and there is no alternative pathway. No other time when this work gets done. The 70% figure that opened this video is alarming, and it should be. But the recovery data is equally significant. NK cell activity responds to restored sleep with measurable speed. The genetic dysregulation caused by sleep restriction begins reversing when sleep is returned to adequate, consistent duration. The biology is not permanently damaged. It is suppressed, waiting for the right conditions to rebuild. Those conditions are not expensive or complex. They do not require a prescription. What Sleep Secrets consistently challenges is the cultural narrative that treats sleep as the flexible variable in a busy life, the default sacrifice when schedules tighten, the resource drawn on first when everything else expands. The biology argues for the exact opposite arrangement. Sleep should be the fixed point. Everything else should flex around it. Not because rest is a luxury, but because without consistent, sufficient sleep, every other health investment you make operates at permanently diminished effectiveness. The morning run, the careful nutrition, the stress management, the preventive checkups, all of it is undermined by night after night of immune suppression from insufficient sleep. Your natural killer cells are not a background concern. They are the mechanism by which your body identifies cancer before it becomes a diagnosis, intercepts viruses before they become illness, and keeps the biological environment your other systems depend on clean and functional. Sleep is not the foundation of wellness. Sleep is the mechanism of wellness. And once you see that distinction clearly, the conversation about whether you can afford to prioritize it changes completely. If you want to go deeper on this, I have put together a complete sleep and immunity protocol. It walks through the full immune restoration approach step by step, including the specific sleep architecture changes that most directly affect natural killer cell recovery. The link is in the comments. Check it out if you want to work through this properly. And next week on Sleep Secrets, we are going one level further. We will be covering what chronic low-grade sleep deprivation does to your inflammatory markers over months and years, and why that connection may be the hidden biological thread running through almost every major chronic disease. That video is one I think you will want to stay subscribed for. If this video helped you understand something that the standard health conversation has not been telling you clearly, subscribe. I publish new sleep research every week. No padding, no filler, just the science, translated into something you can actually use. See you in the next one. Next on Sleep Secrets, the inflammation connection, why poor sleep may be the hidden root cause of every chronic disease you are not being told about. That video is up next.